For tithing, I think there are three things that a person needs to remember. First of all, it's God's plan. You find that in the Old Testament, where Moses tells the people the first of the first fruits you bring to God. It's Jesus' plan, because in the New Testament, he said that a person who gives up anything for him receives 100-fold in this life and eternal life in the life to come. And the question then becomes, was Jesus serious about the whole thing? And the third piece is, do you trust God? Because, you see, I can say I trust God, I can say I believe in God, but it doesn't cost me anything. It's not measurable. Tithing is measurable.
Sitting in the sacred grandeur of our church, we may tell ourselves that what we have to give or not give doesn't matter. That is simply not true.
Our percentage we try to do with the tithing, maybe it's not as much as some other people can do, but that's not what matters. You may think that your money isn't making a difference, but it does.
Even lifelong Catholics make the mistake in thinking that tithing is akin to fundraising for the church. It's not.
The whole notion behind stewardship and tithing is my relationship to God, not my relationship to this church in which I'm sitting.
God's given to us. He's asked, what have we done with our talents? Not only in how we live our lives, how we develop as persons, but how we take care of others. And tithing is a large part of showing what we do with what we have.
And when you give, you get. I mean, you don't give to get, you give and just accept the fact that you get, and you can give more. I mean, that's why we tithe.
It's not a head thing, it's a heart thing. And Christ, if you're faithful, I don't know why you wouldn't want to do what Christ wants you to do.
And if you talk to any Catholic who has made tithing a part of their life, you will hear stories of how it has changed their lives and blessed them.
People need to understand that tithing just unlocks everything.
From a financial point, it won't change your life. But from a spiritual point, you'll really, really feel good about it once you get into a pattern of giving God off the top.
There was a tithing check that my husband and I had written to Monsignor, and we usually do it more quarterly because of the way my husband is paid commission-wise. And I'm not kidding, the very next day after we wrote the check, our stock portfolio, or if you want to call it that, went up for almost to the dollar the exact same amount. In a time when maybe it otherwise wasn't a good market, it was just, what else could we attribute that to?
The other thing that I always gravitate to is Matthew 6:12. Where your money is, so is your heart. If you look at your checkbook, you'll see where your heart is.
There are many different ways it is said. When you give, you get. What you put out into the world comes back to you. All of those things are true with tithing, but in a profound way that deepens our faith and our relationship with God. And if you need that money, you can have it back at any time.
My money-back guarantee is that if you will try moving toward tithing, whether that's 1%, whether it's 2%, whether it's 5%, whether it's just a fixed amount that you decide you're going to come up with, where you actually make a reasonable effort to put God first. If you will make that effort and then give, and you find that that's not working, then you tell me how much of that money you have to have back, and we'll give it to you, no questions asked. It somehow comes back to us. It's not a mathematical formula, it's a faith formula, it's a trust. Do I trust God? And if I trust God, then yes, it will work.